Josh, what's up, man? I'm glad that you're here. Um, I'm not gonna speak for you. I'll let you do the introduction because I guess the first thing is kind of who you are, and if you want to introduce yourself for people that are watching, I'm not gonna do that justice. So go right ahead, man.
Yeah, I'll just kind of go through the whole beginning. My name's Josh Vasir, strength coach at K-State. I'm in charge of baseball and men's women's golf. Started off, I played baseball at the University of North Alabama, first baseman, played there for 4 years. It's kind of where I got my love for baseball and love for strength conditioning too. We didn't really have a consistent strength coach, I would say, so it's kind of on my own, learn as you go and kind of see what works for you and what you like to do. And I always liked lifting, so it was kind of just a mesh of the two. After UNA, I interned at a high school where I went to school, Westminster Christian Academy. Got to work with Garrett Keith, who's an awesome dude. Kind of helped me out get started. One thing about teaching high school kids, if you can teach a middle schooler how to do an RDL or a squat, you can teach any college kid coming into the ranks to do the exact same thing. So that was huge for me. After Westminster, went and got my master's degree at the University of West Florida under Kent Morgan. That was an awesome opportunity. I got to play at the beach for 2 years, which was awesome, and that never hurts. But I got to work with so many different sports there. Football, softball, baseball, basketballs, volleyball, all that sort of stuff that you just get that general knowledge of what each team needs and, how teams aren't so different when you're training them in some aspects. So that was huge. And being at a Division II school, you don't necessarily have everything that you need. Well, they do now, but when I was there, they didn't. So it's kind of a good starting point of using what you have to the best of your ability, and you can still get stuff done no matter what. Kind of like everybody's doing these home workouts right now. You can always find a way to do certain stuff. After West Florida, I was a paid intern at Ole Miss. Worked with Ben Fleming, the baseball strength coach there. At the time, got the same thing, got to work with so many different sports, track and field, softball, all the Olympic sports. I try to get in with everybody, trying just to get as much experience as possible. And then, work hard to get that opportunity because you never know when that opportunity is going to pop up. So when the K-State job opened up, Ben Fleming was prior to you. And so he kind of helped me get hooked up, and been here for this would have been my fourth full season.
Yeah, so, man, I'm stoked because you just get to talk to Blaine. I mean, you do awesome stuff, and I knew we had briefly touched, and I know that I had talked to you after I left very abruptly. That I knew it would be an interesting situation for you, but it's cool to hear you're Northern Alabama. I didn't realize about you because I was a D3 guy. I played football at a small D3 school. And so when you said you didn't really have a strength coach, I literally was in the same boat. And I tell people all the time that one of my blessings, I think, is the fact that half the time we were just kind of making our own stuff up and having to experiment on ourselves and stay in shape and stay strong. And we didn't have much guidance. We had a coach that might, hey, here's a program, but it helped out in the long run because when you got in situations where maybe you didn't have the nicest stuff, like you were talking about, or situations now where you're just trying to have to make it happen, there was not much of a freak out mode. And so it was very weird when I got to K-State and there were people asking like, hey, what do you need? What do you want? And we can get it for you. And I kind of looked kind of sideways and I was like, man, I don't know what you're talking about. Nobody's ever asked me what I wanted. I just made work what was handed to me. But Ben is he's still out at Wilmington, right? He's still
I don't think he's at Wilmington anymore. I think he transferred over. I think he's working with Clean Eats. I don't know if
okay.
They're based out of North Carolina, so I think he shifted over that direction. But
that's not too bad then. What is because I have no idea, what was the difference? What's the difference between K-State and Ole Miss? Like, is there a difference in your opinion?
I mean, the towns are similar in the fact that they're both small town college towns. Um, Ole Miss, is just like a southern small town that's like, I mean, same thing as here. Like instead of wearing purple, they're wearing red and blue and all that stuff. So it's honestly very similar as far as how things are laid out and worked on.
Right. And I mean, I have to ask you because I never really got to ask you. And obviously, you took over at a very interesting time because you took over in the middle of the year.
Yeah.
I'll apologize for you that one.
No, it's all good.
Man, like, how was that? I mean, I kind of distanced myself on purpose from it. How was that transition?
So I mean, I wasn't coming in there middle of the year trying to change up too many things. I used it as kind of a get a feel for how things are, how things are done. I'm pretty sure the first workout we did was exactly what you planned out, but before you left. So I mean, it was relatively easy. Like it was just kind of starting to gain the trust of the guys. Be like, hey, you like this? What do you like to do? How's this exercise? How'd you feel after the workout yesterday? How'd you feel after training yesterday? You feel like you can go out and pitch tomorrow, stuff like that, just to kind of get a feel for how things were done there, because no place is the same. We talk about all these different exercises that everybody's trying to do and, these different, methods and all that stuff. But honestly, it just depends on the place that you're at and what you have to work with and the people that you have and athletes that you have. I keep going back to it's all about the athletes. They're the reason why you're here. And so that's how it should be. Everything should be geared towards those guys.
Yeah, that was something I think, to be real honest, that I struggled with early is as I was so engulfed in the program and wanting to make all the little variables of the program right, that sometimes I forgot that if the kid across from you doesn't give a damn about what you're talking about, then it doesn't really matter what the hell you're doing. And I genuinely think that you approached it from the right way. For whatever reason, reflecting back on the years that I got to do it, I think there was a lot of times I went the reverse. And I was more worried about the program than I was the kids. And I was like, hey, here's the program. We need to do the program instead of kind of touching the kids, which ultimately is probably why I'm not in strength and conditioning anymore. I'm not coaching anymore. I'm doing something else. But how's the baseball golf dynamic? Because I know golf, there was days that I really enjoyed working with golf because those cats were just so off the wall and weird.
Yeah.
And then also, I mean, at least some of the kids that I worked with can be sometimes a little bit of a headache because they're golfers, man. And
Yeah.
I'm a golfer, like, they're weird. Like, how's that working for you?
I love those guys still. Even I'm probably going to get some crap from some of the baseball guys, but sometimes I really like training the women's golf team better than any other sports. They're awesome. They work really hard. It's a very, very easy team to coach. You tell them what to do, they're there doing it 100%. I love sometimes we'll do voluntary stuff sometimes, and I'm like, all right, my morning's wide open. We can do whatever time you guys want to. Coach, you want to come in at 7 a.m.? It's like, all right, no problem. All right. I like the extra work, all that stuff. But same thing with men's golf too. They work hard. A different type of working hard sometimes, and you got to give and take a lot for sure. Right. It's just a different mindset. And one thing I teach all my interns is you got to have a lot of feel as a strength coach. And I've never really been able to define what feel is, but just being able to know when to push them, know when to back off, know when to lighten up, know when to discipline them, know when to let things go, stuff like that. That really pays off.
No, I think that feel is the right word. I mean, I've used that word in social settings before where it's like the guy's got no feel. He can't feel the situation. Or like when a guy's trying to talk to a girl almost, it's like the guy's got no feel. He's got no idea what's going on around him. And it's interesting. I've never heard of somebody using it in the context of especially strength and conditioning. I mean, it is 100% right because, man, it may be a day where you have to let something go that you don't want to let go because that's the situation. And again, things that I didn't do early on, especially when I was still in Louisiana at Northwestern State, I definitely probably didn't let things go when I should have let things go. How many interns do you have with you now? What do you want?
It just kind of depends. Danny Cavender's kind of in charge of that, as you know. So sometimes, some semesters I have one, some I have two. Just kind of depends on who's interested and who's emailing.
Right.
The past 2 semesters, last semester I had 2. This semester I have 1. I've been pretty lucky. I've gotten some really good ones.
Man, it's so odd. It's so weird to think that this is already your 4th season, or would have been your 4th season there. How was the whole last year with the construction? And you've got a badass setup now, by the way. That is awesome to be in. But how did you handle that? Was it a problem? I don't even know if it was a problem.
So, I mean, as you know, we had that smaller weight room in the stadium.
Right.
We were going to try and fit 5 racks in, which, as you know, would have been pretty tight.
Whoa.
So, but I was just trying to get as much out of that room as possible. And so when we started the whole construction, we had to move everything out of the stadium. So we moved everything from the weight room to the indoor. And so when we moved it to the indoor, it's a 60-yard wide indoor facility. And football used to practice there back in the day just to give people an idea of how big it was.
Right.
So we have batting cages and stuff like that. So it was a big turf area. And we put the racks in that area, and we had 5 racks coming, brand new ones. So we had 4, and then we had 5 coming, and the plan was to switch them out. Well, the new Coach Hughes, our new coach, came in and really liked it in there, and so did I, because I was going straight from warm-ups right into the weight room. I mean, there was in Kansas, it gets pretty freaking cold. So we would do some speed stuff in the winter and then have to sprint to the weight room in the stadium and stuff like that. But we were inside the whole time. It was quick transitions. Only got, 60 minutes to get what we need to get done. So it was just time efficiency was there. And so Powerlift decided to give us those 5 racks and let us keep our 4. So that was touche to them. That was freaking awesome. And so now we have 9 racks in there. And the biggest thing I would say about the construction was that while that was being done in the fall, we had our locker room in the indoor as well. So the guys had their locker room, the weight room, their indoor practice facility, and their fueling station all in one building. So as you can think how that would work out, that's exactly how it worked out. But it ended up being good, though, because it ended up being really good because they were always together. Their locker room was there. When pitchers were getting ready, hitters were hitting, so they saw each other working. We did separate individual groups in the fall. So if one group was working out, and another group was coming in, getting a snack, eating lunch or whatever, they saw each other. That group saw this group working hard. And so it really played into our culture, into our environment that we were trying to have. And then as soon as we got all the brand new facilities, the locker room and all that stuff, it was like the light turned on, everything switched, but everything stayed the same. Culture was the same, the environment was the same. And the last thing I'll say is we're very blessed here at K-State to the fact that our weight room is literally 10 feet from the field in our indoor facility, which is 10 feet from the field. Our locker room is a baseball field away from our indoor facility. So the baseball guys never have to go anywhere outside of that area.
Right.
As at other universities, weight rooms, 5 miles on the other side of campus.
Right.
They may have to practice in the football indoor, which is on the other side of campus. So, our guys, they come into the weight room to get their arm carrying 30 minutes before practice. At other places, you can't really do that just because of the whole location and logistics of how everything works. So, everything is there in one place, which is a huge advantage.
And now if I'm not mistaken, you and Blaine, the athletic trainer, y'all get to run the full arm carry. Y'all have taken all of it over, which, by the way, I think that is freaking fantastic. Yep. And the couple times I've been up there and visited you, I've seen guys, y'all are doing everything from weighted balls. So you got your Kaiser machines, you're doing all your body blades and everything. It looks like, I'm not going to ask you too much into it, but it looks like y'all have taken full control of that, which that's outstanding.
So when the transition of the new coaching staff coming in, we didn't have any coach during the first part of the summer. And even when we did get the coach hire, we didn't have a pitching coach for another month. So me and Blaine, we sat down, we decided, hey, we're going to do this the way we want to do it. We're going to take control of it. And so we set that habit of, I think we lifted at 6:30 in the morning. This is during the summertime. So we had 6:30 lift, I believe. And then at 6 a.m., we had arm care because we would throw before we would lift. And so we made it a habit for them that summer that they need to get their work done 30 minutes prior to whatever they're doing. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like we instilled in them warm up to throw, don't throw to warm up, if that makes sense. So
it makes complete sense what you're saying. I'm digging what you're, and the fact that, and I know Blaine obviously is a good dude too, but
yep.
The fact that y'all immediately in that window of even just a month, y'all are like, the hell with it, we're going to run this thing. And then obviously Coach Hughes saw what he liked.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember, is it Coach Taylor, Buck?
Coach Taylor, yes, sir. Yep.
And then Buck came in and obviously liked what he saw as well. Mm-hmm. And y'all got to run with it. What was your summer schedule that summer? Did you at least get some time to breathe?
We did. I personally, I like going 5 days a week during the summer. We'll go 3. It's high-low, so 3 high days, 2 low days. The 2 low days, we do our assessments and stuff, and that's the time that we do our, our movement and quote-unquote corrective exercises and all that stuff to, kind of get them sweating and, recovery days, stuff like that. So.
I got you. Did you do everything in the morning, or did you have to run in
the past I've started doing younger guys. I'll have an individual group just so I can make sure I'm watching them I don't have to worry about too many people in one weight room. I can watch, say I have 5 freshmen, I can look at those 5 freshmen and make sure they're moving the way I want them to. Whereas I'll have an older group as well, which they're doing, I guess, more advanced stuff, you could say. And then it kind of helps me make sure that the freshmen are ready to go once we hit August.
What have y'all been bringing in freshman class-wise each year?
It just depends. This year it wasn't too many. It was a little bit more JUCO heavy just from – I take the same approach freshmen and JUCO. I don't know their training age. I don't know what they've been doing, so we all start the same. But I think this year we had 4 freshmen, 4 or 5, and then a little bit heavier JUCO class. I think the year before was a little bit more freshmen, a little bit less JUCO class.
I got you. So it's basically typical needs of wherever you're at during each year. What do you like? I've never asked you. Do you like Manhattan? Are you enjoying?
I'm enjoying.
You're a Southern guy. Alabama, Mississippi, and then because I'll be real honest, I was Texas, Louisiana, then I went to Kansas, and I was like, what? This is different from Texas. It's different, way different from Louisiana. How was –
The only complaint I have about Kansas is the weather. That's the only thing I'll complain about. Everything else, I can't. And, I mean, no matter where you go, you're going to have a complaint on weather. Some places are too hot. Some places too cold. Some places it rains all the time.
I tell people all the time that they ask about Kansas. It's, man, it's the cold didn't really get to me. It was the wind because the wind just makes it so much more miserable.
Yeah.
And I said, but my wife, and at the time, girlfriend and soon to be fiance, despised it. I mean, she hated the cold. Like, she would come up, and that walk from the old parking lot from the baseball to the Coliseum, Bramlage, we would walk to go watch basketball games, and she wouldn't do it. She hated it. She's Southern California girl. For that 3 or 4 minute walk, I would just wear it of like, I hate this. It's so cold. I mean, she never once was negative about being in K-State, but it was just she hated the cold. Where did you meet your wife? Because you just, by the way, congratulations.
I appreciate it.
I know you just got married, but where did you meet your wife at?
At Ole Miss. So she worked with the baseball team at Ole Miss, and so that's how she worked out in the weight room that I was working in, and that's kind of how it went.
Met my wife in a weight room. I know the exact feeling. I think Fleming met his wife in a weight room. I think all of us, one way or another. Yeah. I think Corey Meredith, if I'm not mistaken, met Gina in a weight room. So that's it's funny how that works. Man, I can't really think of anything else as far as, unless you want to dive into some programming talk. I'll talk programming if you want to talk some programming, but I don't want to dive too heavy into that. Keep your secrets kind of folded up.
I have zero secrets.
I do have a question, just because it's everybody wants to know. What's next right now? Like, I don't even know, because I've stopped following the legislation. Have they completely shut it down? Like, is there any chance of y'all coming back, or is it officially shut down?
I've heard, the only thing I've heard was a couple weeks ago. There was talk of maybe like a winter season or something, or a fall winter season.
Okay.
That they might do, but honestly, I have no idea. I mean,
so how are you approaching it? Like, are you just staying in touch with kids? Are you trying to just send them at-home programs, and are you sending them?
Yeah, I'm sending them. They have two options. They have an at-home like bodyweight workout if they don't have any equipment.
Right.
If they do have equipment, they have an option for that and stuff. And so, I mean, it's a tough time right now for everybody, but at the same time, it's on your own. You can, whatever you feel like doing, you can do.
Have they already killed Summerball?
Not yet. Summerball will be completely different too, because
you got arms that need to
get in. More people trying to go out and play because we didn't get any reps during the season.
Hell yeah!
So that'll be completely different. And then if everybody goes out and plays Summerball, we got to think about shutdowns in the fall and how that affects the fall series and the fall practices and stuff like that. So.
Especially if you're trying to do that fall season, that's going to kill Summerball. I mean, kids can't go play Summerball if you're going to go try to play, even if it's a 30 game or a 25 game.
I know. And then if you have a fall season, you're trying to win, then you got your ace pitching, 80 plus 100 innings, and then you're expecting him to come around and pitch 80 to 100 innings again in the spring.
Yeah, that's kind of my question.
We're getting up there as far as pitch counts go and all that stuff, and
that'd have to be a tricky situation. I mean, you play 50 games in the fall, and then are you going to do a modified in the spring? And then I guess I did see that y'all's seniors will get an extra year of eligibility. So if your seniors get an extra year of eligibility, does the fall only count, or do they get the fall and the spring? And there's a lot of moving.
There's a lot of moving pieces, and I hate to say it, but someone's going to be getting screwed out of something. I mean, there's no doubt. There's no way you can make everyone happy on this situation, but I mean, it's kind of it's weird. It's a very weird time. Like, we've worked really, really hard to get to this point, and to have it taken away. But then there's a bigger picture. I know sports are such an important part of these kids' lives, but at the same time, it's a good time to sit back and kind of see the bigger picture of why things are happening, and
100%. I mean, it's not an easy thing to say, and I'm with you. Like, I can't stand losing sports, but at the same time, there's been some really cool things to see, just as far as, like, I don't know, I can't remember y'all's neighborhood too much that you live in, but like, I know the neighborhood that my wife and I are living in. I swear I've seen more people outside on walks and on like jogs and walking dogs than we've lived here for a year, and I've probably seen less than 10 people on walks. And I went off for a walk yesterday, and there was probably 30 people walking around our neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, even I know people trying to buy weight room equipment, and everywhere's sold out because.
Rogue, it pretty much broke Rogue.
Yep.
They didn't break Rogue, but Rogue got backed up enough that they wanted to pause for 24 hours. They put that out on the online, whatever, that all online orders, and then now they're making masks, which I think is really cool. I mean, we're almost reverting back to some of that World War II stuff, like Ford made planes and stuff, and we're doing masks. I think there's some really cool stuff to come out of it that are at the expense, like you said, someone gets screwed. And right now, sports are kind of taking it the wrong way right now. They're not taking it from the bad end, and it'll all come out in the wash at some point. I know
One thing I will say, though, like, once this is all said and done and over with, like, the attitude and the outlook on how everything is when we get back to normal is going to be such a game changer, I think. Every game, every out's going to be worth so much more. And I think it sucks right now, but I think it'll be good once everything gets back to normal.
It's the old adage. I think it was a Black Crowes song, that you don't know what you got until it's gone, or something like that. I can't remember the exact band. That's what we're going through. And even people with work, like right now, me with work, I don't get to travel anywhere, and like how much of a luxury that actually is, or how much of a luxury it is just to say, hey, let's go. Like, I don't know, is Manhattan in a lockdown? Because like we are pretty much in a lockdown. They've closed you can't go into a restaurant in the state of Texas anymore. They've pretty much locked all that down. Can y'all still, like, you want to go to Chicago's? Can you go to Chicago's? Like,
I think most of the restaurants are still open, but it's only like takeout and delivery. So like, my wife loves bean dip and from so long. And so last Friday we ordered it to go. I went in, got it, grabbed it, left. So it's different, but things are still trying to stay open, I think, but still trying to take precautions as best we can.
I think it sounds like they're following pretty much the same thing that we are, and it is, but you don't know what you got. Like, hey, let's go to a movie, or hey, let's go have dinner. Let's just go do something, and all these things are closed, or you're not allowed to do it. And it's this, you and your wife are just kind of staring at each other at home, and it's like, let's come up with card games. Like, I was on a meeting earlier today, and it was like, what card game are y'all going to, or what TV show? Man, I'm on a group chat, and that seems to always be what TV show are y'all watching now? And I'm not a big TV watcher, so it's been completely different for me.
I'm just so glad we got the house when we did, because man, it would have been a little bit different if we didn't get it till after or during the time or all that stuff. But yeah, I've been staying busy painting the back of the fridge, like where all that stuff this morning. So just trying to stay busy with that stuff, and like when things break, I have time to fix them.
Right.
The door was going crazy this morning, like little things like that, that you don't really.
Oh no, it's been totally. I'm with you. You look like stuff that I'll get to it. I get to it. It's like, well, I don't have anything else better.
I
might as well go take care of it and Google it. And I think I had a buddy that between Google and some other manual, he figured out he had a safe at home, like an actual lock safe that when they bought the house was locked and closed. But between Google and him spending like 4 hours, he was able to crack the safe, reset it. So now he has a safe at home. And it's one of those deals. It's like, man, who has 4 hours to do that? But you do during coronavirus. So
you do know.
It's crazy. Are you able to work out?
Yeah, I stole a couple of kettlebells from our weight room and
right.
Some weights and stuff, some bands, and just doing some continuous movement interval stuff.
Yeah.
One thing everybody else is doing. So.
Oh yeah. Are y'all even allowed back in y'all's facility? I know some places, like high schools down here, are locking to where like people can't even get to the facility.
I know a couple of times I've been down at the office. I'm able to get in, but I always see like some cop cars driving around. There was one day I had to go in and print something, and I come out and had a campus police officer writing down my license plate, and I'm like, well, all right, better not stay here for too long. So,
come on, man, I've been working here for 4 years. Like, leave me alone.
Yeah,
that's kind of funny.
So,
all right, dude. Well, I appreciate you coming on and talking to me.
I appreciate the opportunity. Like I said before, it was awesome.